It's Wednesday night, and that means it's time for the Lamar Thomas Show, featuring the greatest receiver in the history of college football. Just ask them, Lamar Thomas.
I was born in Ocala, Florida. I moved to Gainesville to go to high school. Been recruited probably since the 9th grade, illegally, I might add, by the University of Florida. I still can remember Coach Solinger, Don Solinger, coming out to our practice one day. Here it is, this guy comes out in the University of Miami jacket, and I said, I can't believe that's Miami out here. And, you know, I wanted to go up and say, hey, I'm Lamar Thomas. And actually, I did walk up to him and I said, hey, Coach, I'm Lamar Thomas. And he said, I know. And that was the start of my relationship with the University of Miami.
Patton, another good block, and Toretto lays it out. Touchdown, Miami.
You come down here, you'll be on TV every weekend, dominating. I thought about it. I said, man, where do I sign? My mom, on Saturday mornings, I would wake up and she'd be holding my hand. I thought she was the weirdest lady in the world. But she was holding my hands and she would be rubbing them and saying, one day these hands are gonna make you a lot of money. She was smart.
So now, here he is, the great one, along with co-host Gary Ferman of CaneSort.com, Lamar Thomas.
What is going on, LT? It is Wednesday night, and that means it is time for another edition of the Lamar Thomas Show. And boy, we have in store for you guys tonight. Lamar's live from Caneswear, and we are going to be reuniting the teammates this evening. 5-year teammates, not too many 5-year teammates left in college football in today's world. But Coach Mario Cristobal, who was Lamar's teammate for 5 years at the U, is going to be joining the show here in a little bit, and we're looking forward to that. We're also going to be joined by Javaris James a little bit later in the show. And tonight's a big night because I'm going to get the scroll going here on the screen. We got some new sponsors of the Lamar Thomas Show this evening. They are just coming in droves, you know, in addition to Caneswear, which you see is at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, which is where Lamar is, and you can shop them at caneswear.com. But tonight, the show is now sponsored by the Florida Beach Bowl. You probably haven't heard too much about that. It's a new bowl game that's going to be coming to Drive Pink Stadium this December for historically black colleges. And that's a very exciting new event. And the law firm of Ratson and Faxidomo, did I say that right, Lamar?
Faxidomo. It's Italian. Faxidomo.
Well, I'm going to let you take that one from now on. I'm terrible with those type of names. But you guys out there, hopefully you will never need them. It's very similar to the law firm we had last year.
Yeah.
Hopefully you never need them. You want no part of them. But if you ever do get yourself in any little bit of trouble, even if it's a traffic ticket, Lamar, like do they handle traffic offenses?
Oh, yeah. They handle it all. And especially, you know, Mickey Ratson, Miss Ratson, she does a lot of work with college students also. So I'll have that read a little bit later, but yeah, it's a great law firm, and you know I've dealt with Mickey. Shoot, it's been a long time, but I've had to call her once or twice.
Yeah, so you know it's always exciting to have some new sponsors. You know, but of course, Caneswear is where the show's at, and Caneswear is your headquarters for all your Canes merchandise this entire season, and they've got the largest Canes store that's ever been created. There at the 2655 South University Drive in Davie. And, you know, feel free to check them out at any time. And if you can't get to the store physically, you can go to canesort.com and shop their entire inventory online. So Lamar, big night tonight with Mario coming on in a little bit, but first let's talk a little bit about the Canes. And let's see, since we last got together, they had their little scrimmage against Bethune-Cookman.
Is that what you call it?
Oh my God, Lamar, I can't take. I just can't. I mean, I can't take. This is 40 years I've been watching these games, but really, yeah. And it's like I can't take it anymore. It's just like it's just such a waste of time, Lamar. They didn't even bring the band this year.
That was a little disappointing. They didn't bring the band, but the one great thing about that game, obviously, is on Thursday night. But the one great thing, we got to see a lot of players get their opportunity to play. We saw a running game, guys running hard, hitting the holes. We saw guys blocking. We saw a lot of stunts. We saw some coverage. I mean, we saw a lot of good things to help the program down the road, because as we well know, this season is going to continue to get tougher.
Progressively.
And it was set up perfectly. I mean, this has been a great setup. You play a really tough Texas A&M game, and then you come back, you play Bethune on a short week on Bethune-Cookman that probably, I wouldn't say probably, they earned some money, but they lost some players.
I cut their paycheck. I mean, I'm sorry.
But it didn't bring the band.
With no band, I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
cutting whatever that check is, whether it's 200,000, 300,000, 600,000, 800,000, whatever it is, I'm cutting it in half because they didn't bring the band. I mean, come on, man. It's like that's part of what we're signing up for. Let's be honest. When we schedule that game, they got a good band.
A really good band.
A really good band.
Yes.
And they can loan us a few people too. Our band's pretty small. Like we need a bigger band. I was thinking maybe you could spearhead a campaign on campus to recruit some additional band members. Heck, they don't even have to play an instrument, Lamar. They could go out there and fake it. But we got to have more people in our band.
Well, most of our band members, if I remember correctly, don't even attend the University of Miami. So, it is a smaller band, but when FAMU comes in here, and Bethune-Cookman comes in here, you see how small they really are, because those bands are massive, at least over almost 200 instruments out there. So, yeah, we got to get a little bigger. But they do their job, and I noticed we pump in sound because they aren't that loud.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of bands do that. They want their sound loud. I don't have a problem with that. I just they just need more physical bodies out there.
Yeah.
I wish they would just recruit some students to just put on the uniform and go out and have fun and
we continue to win. They'll join. I promise you that.
Yeah, maybe they'll join. But yeah, so like you said, nice progression to this season. And that continues this week with Temple. Miami's a 23.5-point favorite in this game. But I think it's good because they get to go on the road. They've got a lot of young players on this team, some who have not been on the road before. Get into just
wait, and it's not young. You got people who've transferred in also. So this is your first time being together, going on the road, which is important. But at least it's not we're going to Texas A&M. You understand? This is, you're going to a Temple team that's struggling. So, I would say maybe a notch better than Bethune-Cookman. But at the same time, now you're bringing all these guys together and you're trying to put them together out there on the field.
And, coaches want to say everything's the same. Mario said that this week. They go to a hotel before a home game. I mean, and, they have the buffets and the meetings on Friday nights and, the whole pregame routine. But I still say that when you're getting on a plane for 3 hours and then you're busting to the hotel and it's a little bit different, the weather's a little different, you're in a different environment. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm crazy. I think it's still a little bit different. And I think it's nice that the team gets to go through a dry run. all the support staffers get to go through a dry run, make sure that they're on top of their responsibilities. When football teams go on the road, these are well-oiled machines that have a lot of moving parts. And yeah, you know, I listen, I like it. I like the way the season's coming together. I like the way the schedule's coming together. Lamar, it's really setting up nicely progressively for Mario and the staff to build this team up to get ready for these big games that'll be coming in October. Obviously at North Carolina, you know, then there'll be Clemson and Florida State. Those are all the games that are going to define the season for sure. But Miami has a nice progression, wouldn't you say, as it moves towards those moments?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a nice progression. I mean, this is a well put together schedule. I mean, you think about it, exactly what they need to continue. I mean, again, like you talked about earlier, to have a road game going to Temple. I mean, it's not a road game going to Florida State first. You know, some of those young guys, they haven't been on the road and going into a hostile environment. This will be an environment. I don't know about hostile, but it will be an environment a little bit different than being. I don't know how hostile it can be at Temple, but I guess maybe the neighborhood, but not on the football field.
I'm going to predict right now that Miami's going to have as many fans there as Temple. They average 15 to 20,000. Miami's got a big presence in the Northeast, and
yes.
and I've heard that a lot of Canes fans are making the trip over to Philly for this game. I mean, a few said they wanted to come eat cheesesteaks with me on Saturday morning. I'm going on a cheesesteak tasting tour. I'm going to go to Jim's cheesesteak first, Lamar. Well,
Wow.
no, this is what I'm going to do first. First, I'm going to see the room where the Declaration of Independence was signed, because I'm a cultured guy, and I want to see, you know, where those guys sat to sign the Declaration of Independence. So I'm going to Independence Hall first.
Okay.
Then I'm going to live a childhood dream.
Are you going to run the stairs? Are you going to run the stairs like Rocky? I knew it. There you go, buddy. There you go.
I may pass out halfway up.
Yeah, you're going to pass.
I will be there running the Rocky step.
Hey, you're going to look like the 83 national championship team that ran out on the field. They all needed oxygen.
Sure,
all them old guys. All those old farts.
I'm sure I'm going to look worse than those guys, Lamar. And then, well, and you know, I'll probably get there like about 11:15 or so. So anybody wants to come run the Rocky Steps with me, meet me there, and we'll go run the Rocky Steps. That's going to be kind of cool. And then after that, I am going on a Philly cheesesteak tasting tour.
They have those? Like it's like a wine tasting tour, like bourbon tasting in Kentucky.
I got my whole itinerary, Lamar. I'm going to this place, Jim's, because everybody tells me the other places are tourist traps. This place, Jim's, has the best cheesesteaks in Philly. So I'm going to Jim's first. It's like a nice progression from the Rocky Steps. Then I'm going to Gino's and Pat's, which are the two tourist trap places for like 80 years or whatever. And I'm going to get myself cheesesteaks from all three of them, and I'm going to see which one's the best. And I'm going to report back to you next week.
Okay, you got it all planned out. No golf though, right?
Maybe Friday. I'm gonna try to sneak that in possibly on Friday. We'll see. And yeah, so it's going to be a fun time up there. They got sports books, they got everything up there. So it's got a lot of big games this weekend in college football, Lamar. A lot of big games. I'm going to tread in dangerous turf, and I'm going to say that Colorado is going to play Oregon. Ohio State's going to play Notre Dame. Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss are going into Alabama.
Hold on, wait. Let's stop on the Ohio State Notre Dame game. God, as much as I hate Notre Dame, I can't. It's hard to cheer for them, but Ohio State, they're close to that too. So I mean that maybe the game should end in a tie. How about that? That's a win for me.
Notre Dame's looking pretty good this year, actually.
They are.
Yeah, I'm kind of impressed. I mean, I don't know if it'll come to an end at some point, obviously, but they've looked pretty good earlier this season. But what else? You got Pittsburgh hosting North Carolina. That's a huge ACC game.
Yes, a huge one.
And then another one, Lamar. You got Florida State going to Clemson. What if Clemson is 0-2 in the ACC after that game? Could you imagine that?
Wow.
We're going to find out will the real Florida State stand up? And they didn't look too great against Boston College.
Well, we don't know. We don't know how good. Boston. If they don't commit all those turnovers, not turnovers, the penalties. What they have 20? I thought I was watching the Texas Cotton Bowl. The Cotton Bowl. It was so many penalties in that game.
I think it was 160 yards of penalties.
Wow.
Although I think Colorado State overtook them in that Colorado State game. I think they had like 170. I've never seen so many flags in my life as I saw last weekend watching football. With the Canes not playing on Saturday, it was a chance to just sit back on the couch and with the remote and go from game to game. And man, some of these referees are way too involved in these games. I mean,
almost taking over the game.
They're certainly influencing them, I'll tell you that. I mean, it worked out for Florida State because if Boston College doesn't have all those penalties, I don't know that Florida State gets out of there.
So we don't know how good or bad Boston College might be. I mean, that's going to be interesting to see. They're to me, they're like Duke. It's like, okay, they played really well. How good are they going to be? Or how good are they? Or it's just early. Nobody's scouting them. Don't really know what's going on, and they were able to surprise somebody. I know they surprised Clemson for sure. Duke. There's no way Clemson thought that Duke was going to even be in their area code, but Duke was able to beat them up pretty good too. Blowout.
Yeah, but shame on them because all you had to do is look back at the way Duke played last year.
Yes.
And Duke put everybody on notice last year. This guy Mike Elko, for a first-time head coach, looks like the goods, Lamar. I mean,
but it's still Duke, man. I mean, I can see if you were saying basketball, but it's Duke.
Well, let me ask you this.
All right.
Miami basketball got a 5-star commitment today.
Oh.
They are recruiting. He's the most highest rated recruit ever in the history of the school. This Jaleel Bethea kid from Pennsylvania, unbelievable looking guard. I mean, check out his tape sometime. I mean, okay. His jump shot. Lamar, I know you tried to play basketball back in the day, but let me tell you something. This kid's jumper is unbelievable. So you got Miami football on the upswing. You got Miami basketball at the top right now. I mean, just went to the Final Four. They got a great team coming back this year. That's going to be good. And then they're recruiting in the top 10 in the country for the next recruiting class that they're going to mix in with these other kids. I mean, they are set for the next few years. I mean, they are really doing a hell of a job in the basketball program. So, like you talk about Duke now having their football program joining their basketball program. Well, at Miami, they're trying to come together as well. And we're going to pretty soon be having a debate, Miami or Duke, for the best dual sport university in the country. I know who I'm taking and you're taking, but I think that the sports world out there will soon have a chance to have that debate because Duke football's coming, Miami basketball's coming, and Miami football is coming as well. That's very, very obvious. All right, so we're at this point in the season. It's been kind of like a little bit of a lull, I would say, because of the way the schedules turned out with the Thursday game, the Friday game. Hasn't been your traditional start to the season, but to your eye, where would you say these Miami Hurricanes are right now?
I think they're in a good place. Again, the way the schedule has been set up, I mean, I haven't walked out of that stadium with a great feeling like after that Texas A&M game in a long time. So, you beat a Texas A&M team. We don't know how good or bad they're going to be. We're hopefully they're pretty good. And then you play a Bethune. We get to see a lot of young players, guys that gives us some hope as far as the future. Or not even the future, but later on down the road, you're getting these guys some playing time. So now it's just like us going on the road to Temple. You're easing into it. You're feeling yourself, and you're getting to understand what the game is about and what playing at the University of Miami should be about. And I think Mario is bringing that back so far.
We get a chance to see a lot of the young kids, in the Miami, Ohio game and then in the Bethune game. And one of those has been Emory Williams at quarterback. And, man, you watch him and he doesn't look like your typical freshman true. I mean, guy who's just at high school. I mean, he's a really, really polished looking passer. Clearly a smart kid. He's picked up the offense. He knows what he's doing out there. He's executing the plays not too differently than Tyler Van Dyke. I mean, he had one play where he threw the ball into a little bit of danger against Bethune, but for the most part, he's making his reads. He's getting the ball there on time. I'm sure you've been pretty impressed with him.
Yeah, I was very impressed with him. I mean, you know, he has an arm now. I mean, that ball was getting there with some zip, and he was slinging it around the yard a little bit. And you know, one thing I watched, you know, I saw Bethune playing a lot of Tampa 2, and they were able to do some things. He was able to look some guys off. He made a throw where Restrepo had completed it early in the game. I think Jacoby caught it later in the game, if I'm not mistaken. Might be mistaken, but he made a read. He threw it in there. He took the hit. The receiver took the hit, but he was able to squeeze that ball in there because I think this kid has some great arm strength. I mean, you're sitting up. I'm sitting up in the booth. We're sitting up there. We're seeing that zip. There's not much of a difference between him and TBD, but maybe there's a little bit more arm strength in this kid, man. I mean, he can sling it. I've liked what I've seen so far. When he first came in earlier in the year, I was like, dang, who is that? He threw that first game. I think he threw 3 or 4 passes. I was like, Jesus, he had some zip on the ball. It wasn't no Rainbow Steve Walsh shots. It was some zip balls.
You know, and one of the things that I'm loving is everybody's debating who's the best running backs, who are the best receivers on this team. This is the first time in a long time where we can legitimately say we've got multiples at those receivers, Lamar. And like these debates are legitimate debates. Yeah. Like, you know, who's the number one receiver on this team? Okay, now we used to do that when it was you and Kevin and Horace and but it's been a while since we were having those kind of debates. And now you're sitting there looking at Colby Young, Restrepo, Jacoby George. I mean, if you had to pick a number one guy out of those 3 right now, based on what's going on this season, I mean, I can't do it. Can you?
I mean, let's see here. Well, the guy that probably is not the sexiest, you know what I mean? It's kind of like me back in the day with Horace and Kevin Williams. Restrepo X right now, he's not the sexiest guy, but he's making the plays. He's the leader right now. That's the way I see it. You got guys, Kobe Young, big old dude. You got Jacoby who's fast and he's a guy that's just consistent. He's been consistent so far. He's making plays. He's yards after catch, making the tough catches. I've been very impressed with him. And I've talked to him on numerous occasions, and I told him hard work is contagious. If you continue to work hard, those other guys, that whole group will be there. I mean, the Kevin Harris, Sweet Nash is chiming in. I can't forget about Darryl Spencer, but they got a bunch of guys. We got a bunch of guys now on this team at the receiver position. Kevin Beard is licking his chops because he got all those players, man. I mean, he's doing a great job. Those guys are making plays. The yak is what I've been most impressed with. There have been some drops. I think maybe Colby is stretching a little bit. I think he's pressing a little bit. Just relax a little bit. Just relax. You got it. You're good. We see what you can do. Just relax.
But it's funny because we've talked about this, and like you look at Colby Young, man. He's got to remind you a little bit of Devontae Parker, who you coached at Louisville. I mean, he's got the big frame, and if you said to the NFL scouts who's the best pros prospect at Miami at receiver right now, they're going to say Colby Young, based on his measurables and all that. But like you said, he struggled a little bit the other day against Bethune, inexplicably. But he's going to make plenty of plays here as we go forward. I'm laughing. I'm looking at some of the comments, and Brian Carroll wants us to talk to Mario about Colorado. I don't think we're going to be talking to Mario about Colorado. That's not a great subject right now in Miami Hurricane land. Maybe we'll touch on it a little bit later in the show, but we got better things to talk about tonight for sure than that. But I wanted to ask you, Lamar, before we bring the man in himself. You were teammates with Mario Cristobal for 5 years. Okay, so
from day one.
from day one, you guys came in together, and there's nothing like the brotherhood of a football program, a football team, the battles, the wars that you guys went through together as you came up in your football careers. And you got a chance to see the fiber of Mario in a different way than everybody else out here. When you think back now, it's been a few years. I won't I'm not going to throw the number out there, Lamar.
Yeah, let's not.
We don't want everybody to know how old everybody is. But when you think back all those years, what do you remember when somebody says Mario Cristobal?
Well, I can tell you this. From day one, when we walked on campus, when you're in high school, those linemen, you think they're big. You're thinking they're big. And then all of a sudden, this guy shows up, this big old joker. I'm like, good Lord. I was impressed with his size, man. I was like, man, he was big. And then find out when the veteran guys got there, he had a brother, Lou, who was just as massive. I was like, good grief, but he was one of those guys the whole time, man. It was almost like he was a wrestler in a way. He just was always fired up, always pissed off out there. He was just pissed off. He was just pissed off. And I'm like, dang, man, you need to calm down a little bit, homie. and then all that pissed offtivity came back and stopped on it when we got on that scout team, because we had to go against the number one defense in the country every day. I mean, I guess it was something to be pissed off about, because we literally had to go against those guys every single day, and we had to earn our stripes out there. And as freshmen, you bond, you stick together. We Gino and all those guys, as you'll see in that picture a little later. We just had to bond together. The majority of us were on scout team, except for maybe Darryl Spencer, who was over working with as a true freshman, and Charles Farms. But we bonded on scout team. We had no choice because we had to succeed. And and when you're running those 110s out there and you're leaning on your brother, you become very close with them. It's a brotherhood. It truly is a brotherhood.
Well, I don't even want to think about what Mario was like on the scout team. That could not have been going over very well with Mario. But let's ask him himself. Let's bring him in here to the show. And Coach, welcome to the greatest show on earth, the Lamar Thomas Show. And this is your first time on, and we do this every Wednesday night, and gets a little crazy here sometimes with some of your guys' former teammates and the greats that have played for the Miami Hurricanes through the years. But welcome. So I just asked Lamar what it was like having you as a 5-year teammate back when you guys were in college. What was it like having Lamar as a teammate?
Well, first of all, appreciate you guys having me. Again, it's an honor to be on the show. But I mean, Lamar was a superstar, man. We're like the scrubs, we just do all the dirty work and have to get knocked around by those monster defensive linemen so he can catch touchdowns and lead us to victory. So no, it was he was awesome, man. He was a guy that during recruiting put a foot in the ground up where in his parts of the woods and says, I'm going to go down there and I'm going to make my own footprints. And he was a game changer for us. And I mean, that was a special class. I'm sure Lamar has shared that with you. And Ed Orgeron was our scout team coach. Get your ass back in the huddle, Lamar.
Big ass and pina coladas.
Man, they got some pina coladas, right?
You mean this guy?
Okay. Right? That's right. That's right.
Oh my goodness.
He was out
turned
here,
him into a Canes fan now.
He was out here yesterday. He jumps right in there. It's like having an extra coach on the field. So, no, those are the best. You couldn't script those days of what they were, what they taught us, and it was on that scout team. It was an ass beating every day. Now those dudes were real. Those guys are Hall of Famers and tough asses, and they knew that the best way to make you a Hurricane was by kicking your butt, and they did.
Hey Mario, I was talking before you came on about taking those butt whoopings every day. We became closer as a group. You know, we were freshmen, man. We walked on that campus. We were freshmen all together. We had to cut our hair, and some guys got their eyebrows cut. It was a lot of things that now you can't do, but back then we partaked.
But it was a rite of passage, man. Let's call it what it is. You walk in that locker room. You come to practice, right, as a recruit. You're all excited. Yeah, I want to be a Hurricane. I want to be a Hurricane. And then you walk in the locker room, you see the size. You go to practice, you see the speed. And then that first collision, you're like, man, this is a different level. But the best part is, like, the Hurricanes always, yeah, you might get bounced around for a few weeks, but then there comes that day when they put their arm around you and say, hey, you're family, bro. We're going to get you right. We're going to kick your butt still, but we're going to get you right. And though that's an experience, and for us, it's a game changer forever. You never lose that, and you live the rest of your career trying to replicate the impact that those guys had on us.
Mario, you look back on that freshman year with all the guys that we came in and the coaches we had. I mean, you think about the coaches we had. We on Jimmy's staff, we were there. Those coaches were like rock stars to us.
Awesome. They were awesome. Gary Stevens was here the other day.
Coach, I had him with the Dolphins.
Yep.
Hey, Lamar, you my guy. You're a Miami guy. You remember me? I recruited you. I said, Solinger recruited. No, I recruited you.
That's right. Well, he was a lot nicer to you than to me, but it was
He was the best. He used to come to the bar on Friday nights on road trips. I don't think you're going to see Mario's current staff doing that. And it was like the most epic evenings you'll ever have in your life.
I remember we told our offense we had given up. I don't know. Defensive line was getting after us pretty good. And lined us up. He goes, "Oh, you sons of bitches! You got a 4.0 in the classroom and a 0.0 out here on the field." So that guy was an unbelievable coach, unbelievable motivator. I remember him just keeping the quarterbacks in that room, man. He wouldn't let them out. He kept them in there until the game plan and everything was down pat. And, man, those quarterbacks played about as efficient a football as you could possibly play. And awesome to see him here. Awesome to bump into, Coach O and a bunch of the other guys.
Hey, Mario, after you went on and you were with the Broncos. I mean, you go. Was Elway there then?
I was there for a cup of coffee, man.
That's all right, but hey, man, you were there.
Guys like you play for a long time. I come in for a camp, and when they realize that they got bigger, better guys, we move on and we go to NFL Europe.
Yeah, that's what I was about to. You went to Amsterdam. How was that, man?
Amsterdam is, it's Amsterdam. Amsterdam is it's a beautiful place. They introduced football out there, and the support was really awesome. I mean, it was really. Put it this way: all the guys that were on that team were really good college football players, and a bunch of them were in the NFL for a while, and they were trying to get back in. And all in all, it was just an awesome experience. Great people and a really good team. Al Luganville was the head coach. It was big time.
You see on the screen, Kevin Harris is watching. He said he's dropping pictures of Mario in Amsterdam tonight.
He hacked the show.
He hacked the show, man.
I got plenty of pictures of Kelvin at some places. Don't
So, Mario, I just wanted to ask you, I obviously have watched you since you were a player and know everywhere you've been, who you've worked with. You've been in amazing places with amazing people, Greg Schiano, Nick Saban, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And all of that has come together to build the foundation of the head coach that we see today. And can you talk a little bit about that for a minute, just how it's all coming together for you now in what I'm going to go out on the limb. You might want to arm wrestle me over this at some point, but I think this is your biggest, toughest job. I think this is bigger than what you had to do at Oregon, just because of the expectations, because of the personal feelings that you have here, because it's it's where you played, it's where you spilled blood, where you had, I don't know, like 33 surgeries and all those different feelings that all come together. Talk a little bit about how it's all coming together for you now in this job.
Well, I mean, the best mentor I had was my high school coach, Dennis Lavelle. Columbus High School, man. I saw the bumper sticker, give him hell Lavelle. You know, it was awesome. He looks like Sensei Kreese, just a tough ass. Just he's that guy. And but yeah, I had an opportunity to work for some awesome guys. And at the end of the day, I'm just a local kid who, by the grace of God, had a chance to play with great guys like Lamar and something. I was nowhere near the caliber of these guys, nowhere near, and got the opportunity. And man, I love football. I mean, I absolutely loved it. It gave our family a completely different pathway to life. And so started coaching under these guys. And all I know is that in all those places, they were all some way, shape, or form a replica of what Coach Johnson had here at Miami. You know, that's why the transition, honestly, to Alabama was so seamless. We had done that. You know, the players there would ask all the time, "Hey, tell us about the U and all that other stuff." I'm like, I still call it UM, man. You know, I didn't say it was always UM. But you know, they were all like Rutgers. I was a rebuild, man. I was 1-11, perennial, you know, team and look at the great job Coach Shiano did there then and what he's doing now. And then, you know, Alabama was a little bit different. FIU was an 0-25 team, I think 0-12 when we got there, but it took us 10, 11 games before we won our first game and then won a first conference title. And but I realized right away, it's like, whether it be your marriage, your business, your football team, your coaching staff, great people that you can trust and are willing to work their butts off. It's that simple and real, that can connect and really get it. Like real dudes, man, you know, guys that you could recognize in the locker room, go, you know what, in the fourth quarter, if it's down, it's coming out of the wire, these guys are going to bust their ass. They're going to find a way to get it done. And so it just carried it on. Great experience, great learning experience out in Alabama. He made me the assistant head coach, which brought a lot of responsibility. Got to learn a lot. And then Oregon was 4-8, and they made a call and went out there and a co-coordinator job turned into a head job. Extremely grateful for that. And just put the same blueprint into work, and boom, some unbelievable stuff. Conference titles, multiple, you know, Outland winners. But I guess it all comes down to it's 25 years of training to come back home. 25 years of training, of getting my teeth kicked in, of learning some highs and some lows, a lot of battles, learning lessons in between, and then watching from far away what, you know, I've been open about it. But I know when I speak about it, I want to speak respectfully, because I think the worst thing anyone could ever do is when you describe a situation you're going into or leaving, is to say something that sounds disrespectful to a former staff, former player. If you wore a Hurricane uniform as a coach or player, you're a Hurricane, you know, whether it was good or bad, you're a Hurricane. But I know that watching from afar, the work that had to be done at all levels was massive. And I had been away for a long time, and I had settled in far away. And I also knew that, and anyone that knows me knows that I could not go to the grave without knowing that Miami once again became Miami. And so that's why we're here. We're working our ungodly hours because that's what has to be done. And we're making a lot of progress, and we have miles to go, but damn, we're making some progress. And I think you guys would be proud of the culture and the approach and the commitment to elevating a standard, again, as we continue to work and progress.
You know, Mario, you talk about turnarounds. That you've dealt with some going to FIU and stuff like that, but today it's about the transfer portal. How's that helped you build this turnaround?
Yeah, this is new for me now. I never used it at the other place at Oregon. Never. I mean, we had one player. And then you see, man, some schools have completely flipped their rosters doing so. And so we're like, all right, this team is there's a lot of ways to fill your roster. We have 85 scholarship spots and how many walk-ons you can get. So we have a great core of returning players, dedicated guys, true Hurricanes. You have an unbelievably talented freshman class. That'll be another, 26, 27, 28 guys. And then you have room for 15 transfer portal guys. They got to be badass sons of guns that love to work and that want to buy into being a Hurricane. And that means you're going to absolutely be pushed and tested and challenged to the T. And we were able to hit on those guys, for the most part. And that blends, it's come together in a big time way. And we did spend a ton of time getting them together in the summer and doing a bunch of stuff. And they're self-starters, are motivated guys that want to be great. They're high achievers, and we push them. And we have an agreement. They allow them to push their ass. I mean, we can push and grind them, and they're not gonna, we got a ways to go. But man, it's these guys. They've been an absolute. I appreciate them. I'm a pain in the ass. I am, and they allow me to push, and so we're progressing, brother. We're progressing. We don't. We're just looking more and more and more like it's supposed to look, and we just got to keep going. We just got to get all the noise and all the bull out of the way, and not worry about nothing except getting better. And we remind ourselves that just get a little bit damn better every single day, and that will take us where we need to go.
I like that. Hey, Mario, the ACC, man, it's looking wide open this year. It seems like we got a great opportunity to build this thing.
Temple, baby. That's all I'm thinking
about. There you go. I like it. You didn't fall for the bait. The cheese.
What I'll say is that you look at the conference, man, there's some good teams in this conference. This is not like it's a top-heavy conference. There's good teams. The quarterback league, man, there's some great quarterbacks in this league. They can air it out. There's massive offensive lines in this league, some good edge players. I'll focus on Temple.
There you go.
Well, I'm going to take this thing to an area that's near and dear to my heart, Lamar, and I know it is coaches as well, and that's recruiting. And, we get a chance to watch you recruit every single day, doing what we do at CaneSort. And I mean, it's just, Lamar, I had to double my staff, okay, so that we could cover Miami recruiting with Mario, even just remotely adequately. And, we've got these two young guys, and they do it every day, all year round, Azubi and Steven. And, Coach, you've had the passion for recruiting from day one. I guess the first thing I really want to ask you is why. I mean, it's, for a lot of coaches out there, it's not the fun part of the job. I mean, it is a grind. Like, I'm not going to go into all the details, how you have to call 100 kids a day. And I know you get up at 4 a.m. and you're texting everybody every single day. And every recruit that we talk to, Lamar, always talks about the personal relationship that they have with Mario Cristobal. And so, Coach, could you just talk a little bit about recruiting, the passion that you have for it, and how you feel that you're accomplishing your mission so far here at Miami?
Well, I think it goes back to being a player, just thinking about that locker room. I'm like, if this locker room had a bunch of players like me, we wouldn't win a ton of games. We have a bunch of players like that guy and some of the other guys. We did win a bunch of games. And when I was a graduate assistant here, I came back when Miami was not doing well. And I remember going out of the practice field for the first time and going, that does not look like Miami. And then just diving into recruiting with Coach Davis and, Coach Coker, Coach Shiano, that staff, CJ. And all of a sudden, man, that roster looked different. And it went from getting beat down to absolutely annihilating people. And I'll never forget, some of the coaching staff members, some guys would take jobs here and go over there. And I remember one of them grabbed me, he said, no matter what, don't you ever, ever, ever trade anything for people. And that means coaches, the quality of recruit, prospect, high caliber human beings, high caliber talent, all these other coaches that are leaving for a club membership or, car, at least car, right? Whatever it may be. It's like never, ever trade that. And let's call it what it is. We live in the greatest city in the world. This university, when Lamar and I went here, was nowhere near what it is now. Now this is an AAU institution. I mean, it's one of the best diplomas in the world. And the internships that we have associated with this now, the success rate, the job market opportunities are incredible. So that being said, like the guy on the screen right here, we love being around winners, man. We love being around tough-ass, hard-working people that want to win. Like where football is life. Like if you took football away from them, they'd be, they could never be happy living unless they're in football, they're doing football, and this is a hard ass business. This is a tough deal, and rebuilding programs are hard. And the best way and only way to do it is to surround yourself at all levels, whether it be someone that's volunteering to help with maintenance for the field, to the guy that's taking the snaps from center, to the guy that's covering receivers. To surround yourself with the very, very, very best people. And that always, number one, you'll be happy because you're with like-minded people, right? If you like to get after it, you like to win, you like to go and compete, you're going to be happy on a daily basis, and that's going to push everybody and challenge them to get to new levels. So maybe that's the genesis of it. But and the other part, honestly, like being out in Dave Broward and Palm Beach the other day, I loved it. I literally I canceled. I had to cancel somebody out the road so that I could, because that's what I used to do as an assistant coach. I got to be everywhere, get to meet everyone. I'm like, I don't need anybody to go with me. I don't need a GPS, man. This is home, and let me get right up the road and try to, hit as many schools as humanly possible and get back in with all the people that were so good to me when I was a assistant coach trying to learn the ropes. And it was awesome. The reception was awesome. Miami is hot right now. It is hot because I don't think it's because we, won the first couple of games. I think they see our style of play is getting better. It's becoming more and more like what we want to be like. And that, if we keep doing this from a personnel acquisition standpoint and from a schematic and player development standpoint, man, it's going to be awesome. And I think it's attracting the right kind of guys.
Well, the work that you put into it has always paid off. And when you were at Oregon, you signed, and I thought this was absolutely amazing. It drove me nuts because we were watching you do it out there. But you signed the top player in 9 different states in your last recruiting class at Oregon. And it made me think, like, how is it different now for you? You're recruiting at the U now. A different brand on the opposite coast. Are there comparisons when you're going out recruiting to what you were doing when you were out there? And what kind of reception do you feel that you are getting as you go around and talk to all these kids around the country now about Miami?
I think upon arrival it was a little bit of wait and see. And I think that now that they're seeing the guys that saw the game a couple weeks ago, right? That changed a lot. And it's what we all know. I'm sure hopefully it's the people that are here watching and anyone that's a hurricane family. When Miami is on, there's nothing like it. There's just not. And, it could be argued any way people want to. When Miami is on, there's only one Miami. There's only one you. But we have a long way to go to get there. But we're getting there. We're progressing very, very quickly. So all focus is on getting Miami better and better and better. Now people are realizing, man, when they see some of these local super studs that are on board or that are here playing now, like last year, Ruben Bain would come out to the games and he'd be like, man, it's not looking too good, but I could probably do something. Well, now he's the highest graded freshman in the country at his position. I mean, it's real stuff that's going on, and it's a lot of it is driven by the local guys, but a ton of it is driven by the best players at their respective states and parts of the country, like Francis. Francis comes from the other side of the world, but he recognizes the people, the caliber of program that's being built, and he wants all in on it. And it's awesome to be around.
You started as a GA, and now here you are all these years later as the head coach. We know it as the U. We know it where you played, Lamar played, and all the greats that have played at Miami through the years. Is recruiting for Miami today the same or different than it was at the beginning of your coaching career?
Recruiting in general is just different. I mean, before there was no internet, so you could get in your car and you could get out to different parts of the state where no one else would even know how to get to, and you would find some guys that would probably be 4 or 5 star now. And they'd be on your campus unknown. Who is that? And all of a sudden they're the Pro Bowl. Now, if anyone receives an offer, what do you see on Twitter? Blessed to receive an offer, and so everybody jumps on it. So now that's part of it. That's like the social media part, the identification part, and the true the work done behind the scenes to find out if it really is the right kind of guy, the right kind of player is intense. And that's the identification part is more important than the recruiting part. Identify the right ones so you can go get them, right? But it's much more, I guess the dynamic is just there's a lot of stuff that goes on now in recruiting, as you know, the advent of NIL and everything else, and that comes with that. The world is easier, the country is easier, right, to travel. I mean, there's flights, directs everywhere. Miami's got everywhere. So that makes it easier. We play in all parts of the country. That makes it better. I feel like every time we run into somebody, there's a cousin or a brother that played here or hurricane football, and that helps out a lot. So is it different? Yeah, it's way different, but the effort and the passion behind it. Look, if you're genuinely like fired up about what you're part of, and being part of this family is the best thing in the world. It just is. And if people could feel that and genuinely see that, and then come out and just feel the vibe around the program, talk to our players, just be flat out real about it, transparent and honest, it's gonna continue to sell itself. That's what we're excited about. There's no BS to this whole operation, man. We're just here to work. We're super just proud to be a part of it, and let's just go, man. Let's just keep going, you know.
Hey, Mario, earlier you talked about Bain, okay, and you talked about how he would come out there last year and now he's here. What's the difference between last year and this year for you guys?
Oh, it's everything, you know. I don't know where to begin. We'd be way past the hours of the show.
We have time.
Yeah, no, I know. It's just, I don't know where to begin. I really don't, because we just need to focus on them.
Well, that goes right into my next question. How challenging is it for you as the head coach with all those people under you and the team, the whole program, to take that one game at a time thought process, one game at a time?
Well, the good thing here is there's the mentality and the feel is that we work with each other. Like no one works. Like I almost don't feel comfortable saying they work for this guy. I don't believe in that. My father and mother, they were hard working, just get after people, and they work with people, and we have that mentality here. So that works. And the energy is like really, really strong, and we meet on culture every single day. If it's anything we emphasize, man, is, you know, we're gonna look a certain way, and when we get on the field, we're gonna get on edge. We're gonna stay on edge, and when we play football, it's got to show that this stuff means more to us than it does to the guys on the other side of the field. You know, and this is an edgy sport, man. You know, this is not a sport that you can get ready for kind in a cuddly manner. You got to go, as you know. So all the principles of values, Lamar, that we learned here, I mean, they're alive and strong, man. I mean, that's what we're just force feeding. And again, credit to the players, man. They're taking it. They're running with it. The leadership council is made up of dudes that they want to be great, and they don't hesitate on having others calling them out if it's not done the right way. And that's a great first step. We're working our way to being a player-led team. I have no idea what the original question was. My mind's like going.
I was talking about one game at a time. It's all good, man. It's all good because that goes right into my next question. Okay, listen, there are rumors about you, bro. The rumors are that you don't sleep. I mean, you're in the office right now. You got game film behind you. It's 9 o'clock. I mean, look, you ain't even know the game. I mean, you do you sleep, man? Do you sleep?
Great cup right there. You know what, brother? We're honored to be in this position, and what I do or the hours I put in really doesn't deserve any kind of like pat on the back. Like I have to do right by you, the alumni, Miami, the community, those that came before us, those that are coming later. We just got to go. You know, there's been a big lapse here. I mentioned it to Gary before. There's been like a gap where Miami was asleep. Okay, and then I can tell you, man, on the plane ride over, you know, when I was coming from out west, I'm like, we got some work to do, and we're gonna jump all over it. But like, we were trained for this. We're built for this. This comes with like shots to the freaking face, right between the eyes and to the teeth, and you gotta the best way to summarize this is what we went through last year. Extremely necessary, so that it could clearly just show where the program had gone and how much work had to be done and in what areas it had to be done to build from there. And it sucks. It's as painful and as hard and as just gut-wrenching as humanly possible. But like, I'm strange in that way. You need that stuff. You need to go through it. You need to eat it and just go forward, man, and make sure that, you know, it leaves a lasting impression on what not and where not to let things get to, and just go, man. But we wake up super fired up every day. I mean, this, you know, in terms of the sleep stuff, I ain't worried about that. You know, we just wake up fired up, man. This is, come on, man. You know, we're onto something. You know that. Come on, man. Miami's on, man. You know, like they say in Spanish, no hola. You know, come on, man. Let's go. You know, let's just keep working.
Great for college football. You got me. I don't know if that old 36 fits no more, but you got me wanting to put that thing on again.
There you go, Lamar. That's fine. Where's 36? I see 72.
36 is over there with Michael Barry. I see 72 flexing as usual, with the shirt pulled up, with the sleeves pulled up.
Look at Greedy Steve. Look at Carlos Spencer. Look at Mike Barrow, Kip Vickers, and Big Diego. What an awesome. Look at Ryan McNeil, man. God, those are some good players. Look at all these guys, Gary. These guys are stars, man. Gino Torretta, Heisman winner. I mean, look at Darren Smith. Darren Smith actually played guard and linebacker
in high school.
New Orleans, man. Just that's a great example of recruiting right there, right? I probably didn't receive all the accolades, but that's an all-pro NFL linebacker who they just watched film, man, and studied and got him. That is unbelievable. That's a great picture.
1992 was so long ago. They didn't even make cameras that focused back then. I mean, that picture's a little brutal, but that's
all right.
Hey, Mario, man, let me tell you something. Thank you so much for coming on the show, man. We appreciate it. You taking the time. I know you got to get back to work, but we definitely appreciate it. And anytime you want to come on the show, just do it. We'll just open the line up. You come on, you want to bend or slap somebody or whatever, man. You got it. You on, all right?
I thought you guys were going to come over now to help me out with film. You're not doing that?
Hey, I can do that. You just call me. I'm down.
Well, you can. And I appreciate you guys. I look forward to seeing you. Let's just go get better, man. Let's just bring like the Miami Hurricane family like this. Because you know what? Like, from far away, you know, you see like people like the country's biggest fear is watching Miami just unite and get strong and kick ass. It really is. And when they see us apart, like, they love that stuff. Competitors love that stuff. And let's all bring this thing together. Let's keep getting better, man. Let's support these young men who are absolutely just busting their tails. And let's make Miami Miami.
All right, Coach. Beat Temple.
Appreciate you, brother.
All right.
God bless. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Coach.
Wow. I'm ready to go play football, Lamar. Let's bring in the voice of the fan, Bruce Warner, who's been watching that interview from our backstage perch. And Bruce, as the voice of the fan, you just got 30 minutes with listening to your head coach. What were your thoughts?
Incredible. I mean, obviously, the three of us pretty much know a lot of this anyway, because going back all those years, but just to see him and to watch him and to listen to him talk about the grind, and it's almost as if he said without saying it, last year was like a blessing in disguise, because it opened up a lot of eyes, and I got to fix this camera thing here. And they wound up fixing things that needed fixing for 15, 20 years. And he's not done. You know, I was doing this show yesterday, and we had Donnie Solinger on, which he recruited LT. And you know, he was saying he spoke to Mario, and Mario is he is so obsessed with turning this around and winning and he doesn't give a damn how many hours of sleep he gets. But you know what's good about it? The way they're playing. They're playing Miami football, even though it's not, we're not national championship caliber yet. But, and I said this yesterday too. I hope you guys agree. Being down 10-0 and 17-7 against Texas A&M, I could hear a lot of people saying in their own skulls, uh-oh, here we go again. But you know what? They fought through it. And they haven't done that in a long, long time. So to me, winning the game was great, but the way they came back and won the game and actually kicked their ass, that shows me that all this hard work is paying off. And I think it's important that we now get to see the fruits of all his labor and the decisions he made and the guts for him to say, I got to gut this team. A lot of coaches would probably say, LT, you might have an answer. Well, we'll have to work harder in the offseason. Well, he got rid of the guys he didn't want anymore for the most part. He gutted the staff for the most part. And look what's happening. He knew what he had to do, and he did it. Not everybody would do that. They'd say, let's just work a little harder. Let's tweak this. And so I'm thrilled with where it's going. And yes, we better play one game at a time. We've had too many games where we fell flat for no reason other than we're too damn overconfident. I know he doesn't want to hear about Georgia Tech. He's worried only about Temple.
I felt bad. I was going to offer to bring him a Philly cheesesteak to the stadium.
Well, I heard the places you're going to. You're not going to Tony Luke's. You're going to those other places.
That's the problem. There's too many of them.
There's a lot of them.
Like I was originally going to go to Pat and Gino's, and I was talked into adding Jim's, and now you're telling me I got to go to Tony's too. I mean,
Tony Luke,
I mean, I only have so much time to eat cheesesteaks.
Well, you got time. You're not playing. It's supposed to be bad weather.
Yeah.
So you might well not take your golf clubs, man. Save you $25.
No, it's going to be nice on Friday, Lamar. So
Friday, okay.
All right, let's take a moment here and take care of some business. You see Lamar sitting in this brand new spanking CaneSort store.
Beautiful.
You got the store behind me. Let's take a moment to hear from CaneSort.
Welcome to CaneSort. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, CaneSort has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at CaneSort.com. CaneSort, the spot Miami fans shop.
Man, that facade looks great at night, doesn't it?
Hey, look at it. Yeah. So this is my favorite hat right here. This is my favorite hat. I love this hat. Every time I go play golf, I wear it. I mean, this is let's see. It's a sharp hat. I like it. But now I'm going back to the old school M.
Old school.
Yeah, I got this last week, man. This is sweet. This is
a baseball team.
Well, the baseball team does have it, but I mean, it's sometimes you can't overuse yourself. You know what I mean? So. You wear the M and you got the U. There's not too many U's, So I kind of like this, man. But I like this. This is my deal.
Well, we know Miami of Ohio's not the U. That's for damn sure.
I guess they found out where the real Miami was. But they beat somebody pretty good.
Yeah.
Who they beat last week?
That's good for us.
I'd have to look, but you're right. Yeah, they've been playing decent football since they left here. That is good.
I was looking at the bowl predictions third week of the season. Who makes these things? But anyway, they had them in a pretty decent bowl game. I was like, okay, go ahead, Miami of Ohio. Fake wannabe Miami.
So anyway, CaneSort is at 2655 South University Drive in Davie. They've got T-shirts, jerseys, polos, hoodies, hats, flags, decals, magnets, anything you could ever want. They have sizes for men, women, kids, babies. You can even outfit your pets at CaneSort. And if you need tailgating stuff, they can hook you up with your tables and chairs even.
They got it all.
If you want to cheer for the other South Florida teams, they've got Dolphin, Panthers, Inter Miami gear. They got it all. Marlins too. Yeah.
Hockey,
Marlins might
Panthers.
make the playoffs.
Yeah, they might. Panthers. They got it all here.
So go to CaneSort.com or visit the store at 2655 South University Drive in Davie when you get a chance, and you won't be sorry. They got a great selection of merchandise. And Lamar, we've got a couple new sponsors this week.
Yeah.
that I know you want to talk about. I'm going to try to keep myself out of trouble so that I don't need the law firm. But I know a few guys that are listening out there that probably could, use a good attorney every now and then. So why don't you go ahead and tell us about our new sponsors tonight?
Well, the law firm of Ratson and Facademo. I like saying that. I feel like I'm.
It's on the bottom of the screen. People can get
Demo. Yeah. So I feel like it's Italian. I feel Italian. But great law firm. Huh? What'd you say?
Italian.
I look Italian. Thank you.
Mario Thomas. Tomasino.
Perhaps the most stressful and disconcerting event that can occur in a person's life. You're suddenly facing a criminal prosecution. So many fears and questions arise. Whether you have been arrested or for driving under the influence or indicted in federal court, few of us are ever prepared for the anxiety and serious potential repercussions that accompany criminal charges. Although many criminal offenses carry the very real potential for jail time, even less serious crimes can have long-lasting consequences, such as loss of jobs, immigration consequences, felony convictions. At Ratson and Facademo, I love saying that. They're result-oriented, defense firm with a focus on specialized clients and attention for the. And let me tell you something, Mickey. I love her. We dealt with each other a long time ago. I've known her over X amount of years. They do a great job. They're both well respected down here in South Florida, experienced, aggressive criminal defense lawyers with a reputation for devoting 100% of their skills and talent to each and every case. Their goal is to handle your criminal matter effectively and quickly so that you can put the ordeal behind you and move on with your life. The lawyers pride themselves in understanding your case, troubling you, your family as well. While the end result is ultimately the most important thing, Mickey and Jude recognize that much of the anxiety associated with criminal offenses stems from not knowing what will happen next. Your defense team will take all the time required to ensure that you are informed and involved in the process as you wish to be. They're here to help your family navigate through the system and aggressively fight to protect your interests. They were recently named in 2014 Florida Super Lawyers for their skills and experience and passion, dedication, and aggressively pursuing the best possible outcomes for all their clients.
Good luck doing that every week.
That's a long script, man.
It is. I love it.
That was written by an attorney, billing by the minute.
That to me, sometimes you got to have these numbers in your wallet. You know what I mean? You got to be able to contact them. Obviously, their number is 305-600-3519. I think it's on the bottom of the screen. Give them a call if you have any questions. They're there for you. Believe me, they're there for you.
Yeah, believe you. I just got a comment from my buddy Kelvin. Bruce owes me a hat. Are you serious? How many meals did I buy you over the last 8 or 10 years and I owe you a hat? He's too much.
And Lamar, tell us about the new bowl game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the bowl game. All right.
I like the name.
Can you put up the little deal? Can you put that up?
Yes, I can. Actually, I did. I screwed that up. So let me. Yes, I will put first. Let me put the law firm up on the screen so that if anybody wants to write down the phone number.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Ratson and Facademo, 2850 Tigerdale Avenue, Suite 400 in Miami, 305-600-3519. We'll give everybody a second to jot that down in case you think that you'll need them. 305-600-3519. And now let's throw the Florida Beach Bowl up there because this is
right.
a new bowl game, Lamar.
That's right.
Coming to Drive Pink Stadium in December. Tell us
That's
about
right.
it.
South Florida, are you ready for the highly anticipated Florida Beach Bowl scheduled for December 13th, 2023 at 7:30 p.m. at the DRB-PNK Stadium in the city of Fort Lauderdale. This inaugural event features showcase of historically black colleges and university HBCUs from the SEAC and the CIAA football programs battling it out in and out on the sun-drenched shores of South Florida. The bowl game is all about uniting and showcasing Broward County as a whole. In addition to this main event, the Florida Beach Bowl is hosting a golf tournament, which I will be there, a 5K run, community concert, and various special events, all designed to engage and uplift our community. For more information, visit them at www.floridabeachbowl.com.
All right, I'm looking forward to going to that game. That's a special game, Lamar. I like that. That's a really cool idea. I don't know who came up with it, but very, very, very good idea.
Believe me, it's a hurricane. A hurricane came up with that app. Are
you allowed to say who?
I don't know. Maybe next time I'll say
maybe
who.
Next week.
I gotta ask him. I gotta ask him if I'm allowed. He likes to stay behind the scene, but a hurricane came up with this idea.
Nice.
All right. Well, another hurricane, Javaris James, is supposed to join us soon. But Lamar, we would be remiss if we didn't bring up the elephant in the room. People are throwing it in the comments here, and I think it's something that we got to get your opinion on. And that's all this Colorado that's going on. And you know, you and I've talked about it. And a lot of you guys, like Deion Sanders is a Florida guy.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of you guys have known Deion for decades and you want to support him. Mm-hmm. I mean, he is a guy that's one of your peers that is getting his big break in coaching. And he's transforming college football. Like, let's be honest. I mean, people get mad at all the talk about him, but like, how can you not be talking about him right now? When you look at what he's doing, he had Lil Wayne leading the Colorado Buffaloes out of their locker room the other day on the 5th most watched college football game in the history of ESPN. Okay.
Wow.
Now, like, how do you not give him credit for that? How do you not acknowledge it? But Lamar, this is stinging a lot of Canes fans and a lot of people associated with the University of Miami because some of his supporters are former Miami Hurricanes. Michael Irvin's been out there speaking to his team. Warren Sapp's been out there and is now announced today on social media that he will be joining the staff in Colorado in 2024. And then the biggest one of all, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, shows up in Colorado Friday night. He had a engagement with SmackDown for his return back into wrestling right now. Made the 1-hour side trip to Boulder twice, one to go on the Pat McAfee show live from Colorado's campus, a show that Deion also was on. And then he went on Game Day and had several segments on Game Day, one of which, thank goodness, was a Miami Hurricanes segment talking about the Canes. But where do you line up on this? What are your thoughts on the phenomena that he's creating at Colorado, but more significantly, some of your peers as former Hurricanes embracing it, supporting it, becoming part of it, all the above?
Well, I mean, I'm happy for Deion. I'm happy for, the process he's put together. He's been coaching a long time and he's moved this thing up, coaching his sons, and he's put himself in a position to be in front of the whole country. So I'm happy for him. I saw Michael out there. I saw Sapp out there. Obviously those guys have been friends forever. And, they all worked at NFL Network together. They're friends. They're like brothers. So, for them to go out there and support them, I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less. They're brothers. They spend a lot of time together, or they have spent a lot of time together. I mean, obviously, if it came down to it and Miami was playing Colorado, I don't think they would be on that other side. they would be on our side. I know those guys. You know, that's just the way. Unless you're employed by them, that's different. You know, I had to face Louisville. I mean, I had to face Miami when I was coaching at Louisville. You know, and it's part of being an adult. You know, but I think they're just showing their support, and I think for The Rock, he's an entertainer. You know, he had WWF, the big show out there. Also, Boulder's out there with a 9.3 million people. You don't think he's going to get his face shown on there? And he got an opportunity to talk about Miami. So I didn't make too much of it. I mean, I know
got a lot of free airtime.
That's what I mean. And so he's an entertainer. He's going to entertain. So, you know, to hear people say, oh, well, you know, you shouldn't wear the jersey. You know, it is what it is. If it came down to Miami playing Colorado, I'm sure those guys would be right on our sideline. That's just the way it is. But that's their friend. They're really good friends. Sap goes fishing. I've called Sap many times, and he's fishing with Deion. You know, Mike, obviously their relationship from the Cowboys and playing against each other, they're all great friends, man. I mean, you think about it. We're competitors. You know, guys, Florida State. You know, Randy Shannon he's at Florida State. You know, but he's a Miami guy. He has a job to do. You know, you can't get mad at these guys. I see the fans. They're making such a big deal about it. But, you know, when it all comes down to it, we got a coach. You know, Mario is a guy that's relentless on that recruiting trail. So he's going to go after those guys. And who knows, you know, if it comes down between, you know, a Colorado guy and a guy wanting to go to Colorado or coming to Miami, I truly believe that we can win that battle. You know, we can win that battle because right now, Deion is the Cinderella. You know, he's you know, but they got a tough schedule. They really have a couple games coming up where they could be put back in a place where we now have to see him be able to coach under some type of humility. You know, so I don't know. We'll see where it goes. If he keeps winning, then hey, happy for him.
Yeah.
But
you know, the fifth highest rated ESPN football game in their history, and it was a hell of a game, but we're talking about Miami. That's good. I don't think the publicity's bad. We're talking about the Canes. So, you know what? Who cares what Deion's doing? They're in another conference. I only care about Miami. That's for money.
People care. People are caring.
But
Robbie Porter wants us to talk about what Zoe said, and I'm going to put it up on the screen for those that didn't see it because it was very interesting. And let me get rid of let's get rid of Robbie's comment there. So Alonzo says, seems like every former player is a Colorado Buffalo now. I guess we'll just keep pressing on with a bunker mentality. It's us and only us, and I support Deion, but you couldn't pay me to wear a Colorado Buffalo shirt. And then he posted, and this was on his social media, a picture of Warren Sapp in a Buffalo shirt, a picture of Michael Irvin standing next to Deion in a Buffalo shirt, and The Rock in a Buffalo shirt. So this isn't going over so big, Lamar, with everybody.
Well, I mean, obviously, Alonzo is in the building. I mean, I don't, you know, he's employed there. I mean, they feel some kind of way, but we're family. You know, we're family. There's no chinks in our armor. We're family. Those guys are friends with Deion. They're going to support their friend. You know, if I wasn't coaching the XFL and I was coaching on another team, I would support Terrell Buckley. You know, it's just the way it is. But at the end of the day, if it came down to it, it's nothing to worry about. Those guys, if it was Miami against Colorado, they're gonna be at home. And now if Warren's coaching at Colorado, then that's different. You know, but that's his friend. This is his program, and I think people are just looking for stuff to just egg it on because think about it. It's only a couple games, but we're now thrust back in the forefront when we've been down and out of it for a minute. You know, I think for college football, it's good. It's really good when Miami's up there, and that's just the way it is. So they're going to find out what it's like to be the team that everybody loves to hate. They're going to find that out in these next couple games,
especially if they knock off USC, which I don't think they're going to do. But yep.
It's amazing. It's been so interesting just to see what a polarizing topic it was. So I thought it would be a good thing for us to touch on here on this show. All right, so let's go back to Mario. Lamar, I mean, after talking to him like that, and I mean, it was special because he was relaxed. There was nobody in his office. He was just chilling with the guys tonight and talking and about Miami and the experiences of his current job and everything. What did you walk away from that interview?
Well, the fact that he was still at the damn office, man. That's what, 9:30. I mean, that just says a lot. That just says a lot about what he's doing over there. I mean, he's really putting the time in, and that's, and I'm sure, those guys are going to be over there early in the morning, and it's a long day, but he feels as though you put that time in, things are going to turn around. I was very impressed with the fact that he was doing it from his office. I thought for sure it'd be from house, or no, he was still in the office. Didn't look like he was going nowhere for a while. He probably got some Cuban coffee off the screen. He's probably going to sip on that.
He's making recruiting calls right now. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was impressed.
He's making recruiting calls. How about the emotion and passion that you saw that he brings every day to his job at Miami, just to be here and be the guy that is now entrusted with restoring what you guys created?
That's what he has, man. He's one of those guys, man. He's a grinder. The old lineman, he's a grinder. He's taking that mentality on the coaching, to being the head coach, and he wants to grind it out. He wants to run the ball. Me and him used to get in a little argument. Hey man, you ain't gonna be protecting too long because they're gonna throw that thing deep to me. So let's get on off this field. We ain't got to run Greedy Steve that much. But the mentality that he is bringing, you see what he was able to do last year. A lot of us weren't happy. I'm sure he wasn't happy with last year. So he made changes. I don't even know how many players left the University of Miami, how many coaches that he had to replace. But he's going to continue to this whole roulette thing and find the right fits, because I really truly believe he wants this thing to be back to, I don't know if it can get back to what we had, but he just wants this thing to be, we want to be respectable again and have an opportunity to win some championships, or at least be in the conversation of championships, because we weren't for a long time.
The denominator for these fabulous, great coaches like Saban and like some of these other guys, it's a focus. They have a central focus, like they have blinders on. They get rid of all the noise, and he knows what he has to do, and he damn well does what he has to do. Nothing else interferes with it. And that's why in the offseason, you think, okay, I got work to do. But he has gotten some kids in here, other than the ones that are hurt now, that are really pushing and following. And I heard the announcers the other night talk about that. Guidry said the kids are buying in, and Dawson said these kids are buying in. And that's what you have to do, because this is not a country club anymore. We knew it for the last number of years, that these kids were talking back and they were walking out and I'm going to transfer. I don't hear that anymore. It's a total focus, a team focus. And just like you guys used to police yourself, get in that locker room after somebody screwed up, you didn't just walk away. Everybody got on that person. Don't do this ever again. So I think they're all buying into that mentality. You could see it on the sidelines. There's no goofing around. These kids aren't standing there with selfies and stuff like that. They are all business. And I noticed, with Beard, the receivers are not only catching a lot of balls, they're wide open, a lot of them. Before, they couldn't even get a guy open by a foot or two. So the hard work is paying off. The tackling is a million times better. And the attention to detail, because that's what he is, detail-oriented. It's not, whatever happens, happens. No, he has his finger on everything that happens, and you can see it. You can see it. And then we're not even talking about Jason Taylor, but what he brings to the table. My goodness, the pass rush this year is vicious. And we haven't really seen that much out of Leonard Taylor yet. And we've got, Messidor's hurt. Guys are hurt, but they're fighting through it. Nothing. There has been adversity in a couple of these games, but nothing has stopped them. They're just focused. You know, and I don't think you're going to see too many guys catching punts inside the 5 anymore.
You brought up a subject I don't think too many people think about, and that's tackling. The tackling, LT, has been markedly better this year from what we've seen the last few years.
And some violent tackles, too. I mean, Williams has knocked some people on their ass.
Well, I can tell you this. Both coordinators so far get a thumbs up. It's much different than last year. Not taking anything away from those guys who left and went on, but these guys have put together some pretty sweet game plans. Obviously, you know, the Bethune-Cookman game, but Miami, Ohio seems like they're a pretty decent team, and Texas A&M, I think, is a better than decent team, and they put together some really good game plans, and we're able to get some W's. So right now, they're definitely getting a thumbs up. And again, that tackling, you hit on that point, it is a million miles from last year. It was awful. It was hard to watch.
Yes, it was. And the DBs are, for the most part, right near these receivers. For the most part, they're there. So the whole thing has changed. The offensive line, with the exception of a couple of holds by Maui Noah, but you know what? They're playing really hard. And you see Inez Cooper down the field on many of the run plays. He's down 10, 15 yards. You saw that, right, Gary? That kid is busting behind.
No doubt.
I felt bad for a couple of those BCU defenders, man. They were definitely outmatched.
Uncle Kelvin is having a good time tonight, chatting it up. And he thinks that Miami FSU will be the highest rated game of the season this year for ABC, ESPN. And if things continue on their current track, it might be. But
if they're undefeated, yes, that could very
sweet nasty. One game at a time. We got Temple, dog.
That's right.
I think
he wants to change his prediction to 12-0.
Oh my goodness, that guy.
Well, let's talk a little running backs now. And we've got one that's sitting in the lobby waiting to come in, and we're going to bring him on over. And that's Javaris James, a blast from the past.
Baby
J, Lamar called you. Javaris, how you been, man?
I'm doing good, man. How you guys doing?
Good.
We're doing great.
Nice, man. That's nice. Thanks for having me on here.
We appreciate you being on, man. I'm gonna start this thing up, and I already kind of know the answer, but we always ask this of everybody's on that comes on. Why the University of Miami? Why did you come to the University of Miami?
I mean, for me, man, I think it was a little different because I was like kind of born into it. You know, I was able to, you know, be around in the locker rooms and being around the guys like Nate Webster and Bubba Franks and Rod Mack and Santana Moss and, you know, Reggie Wayne and Brian Kelly, you know, also, you know, of course, being around, you know, with Edrin. So just being there, you know, kind of going in the locker room and being around those guys, man, it was just like it was written, man. It wasn't, you know, I played the recruiting, you know, the games, but it, you know, I was working for that UM offer, man. Once I got there, I knew what was up.
So you played the games, huh?
You got to play the games, man. You know, you got to take the trips and do the demos and let them, you know, give you the 5-star experience, and then, you know.
What other schools did you visit?
I went to Florida State, UNLV. I went to Oklahoma. I went to Florida State, UNLV, Oklahoma, and South Florida.
Where'd they take you on the UNLV official visit? Did they take you to the trip?
That was probably one of the best visits I had.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, no, I had like 2 of my guys from my high school that was already out there. So, you know,
you mean Immaculate was in Vegas? Yeah, Immaculate was in Vegas? Oh, my goodness.
They didn't think I would take the visit out there. I'm like, man, I know where I'm going. I might well go places I ain't never been, you know? So I can't pass up a free trip to Vegas.
Man, I tell you this, you know, the fact that when you came through the door, you know, being from Immaculate and having that last name, everybody was, man, we were like, oh, shoot, another one? Another one? I mean, what were the expectations, man? I mean,
man, the expectations were, you know, like, I would think it was normal for me because, you know, being around EJ and working out with EJ and just having that work ethic, and like being around Swayze at a young, at 7th, 8th, 9th grade years old, so that mentality, was different. And then, just getting here, man, it was just about trying to, make a name for myself, but also, continue the legacy. And actually, I thought I was doing red shirt, man. Coach Solinger, true story, man. Coach Sol was real with me. He told me that I had a chance to red shirt.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, hey, bro, listen, Tyrone Moss is my guy.
Hey, bro.
He's like, hey, listen, Tyrone Moss is my guy. I got a couple backs, Charlie Jones, Lamar Thomas. He's like, but I got 2 guys coming in, bro. He's like, they fucking official. It's like LaShawn McCoy and Greg Cooper. You know what I'm saying? He was like, so if you scared to compete, don't even come here. I'm like, Coach, I'm all in. So, I think to have that, just off real, he was being real with me from the get-go. It's like nothing was gonna be given to you. So having that, and I never got a chance to play with Coach Saul. I got recruited by him. I wish I would have got, a chance, but I mean, having that definitely was a big deal.
I know you're telling the truth because you start out, hey bro,
you already know.
hey bro, I'm not. You got me coming up here to Gainesville. What's the deal? Don't bullshit me.
Exactly.
What do you think of our stable of backs this year, Javaris?
Oh man, I love it, man. I love it. I think that's good. I think it's good for competition. Like I always say, man, when I was there, I never forget, when I got there, Tyrone Moss, Charlie Jones, Deron Thomas, Andrew Johnson, Bobby Washington was supposed to be there, but he I think he transferred well. But I mean, that's Miami running backs, man. It makes you better. The competition, you don't got a chance to, take some days off, or, you can't make no excuses because the young guy next to you coming in, he wants your job, and he got all the skills, and he might be a little faster, a little stronger, that's why you come to Miami. I think if you don't want that, if you don't want to be in that type of backfield, you don't go to Miami. But if you want that and you succeed, that takes you, I think, beyond football.
Yeah, I don't think any of them are leaving after this year. Am I right, Gary? They all can come back.
Henry Parrish will probably be done, I think, after this year. Yeah, I think so.
I mean, with the transfer portal, it's different. These guys, it's a little different. I feel like this generation a little more prima donna. You know what I mean? You gotta cater to them just a little bit more. But before, you don't want to transfer, man. One thing, you got to go sit out another year. Nah. You just wait your turn, and for some guys it happens for them. For some guys it don't.
Yeah.
I tell you this. I got a chance to see you guys and be up close with you guys and come in that locker room, and over the last couple of years, that locker room wasn't that. That back in that day, back in that time, you talk about competition. That locker room was tight knit. It was close. Tell the viewers a little bit about how that. It wasn't just the running backs. It was, like you said, every position was stacked, and you had to come every day and be ready to compete. You couldn't take days off.
Oh man, it started in the summertime. You know that.
Yeah.
Summertime.
110. 110.
I mean, just holding each other accountable, man. Just the work ethic. It's just, I think that that what made it the good thing about it, because every day you clocked in, man, like you was gonna be pushed, you're gonna be held accountable, and if you slacking, man, your brother gonna get on you, and if you got a problem with it and you want to make it personal, we're gonna take it to the locker room.
Take it to the youth.
And meet me at the youth.
and Javaris, that's what's missing. That's what has been missing for years. You guys policing yourselves in that locker room if somebody screws up. And I don't know if there's any accountability anymore. I don't know where the leadership is. You guys all knew who the leaders were, but I don't see it. Maybe now it's happening.
It's getting better.
I think it comes back. I think it's big on the alumni. When the alumni come back and guys that you like, I remember in my 110 group, man, I'm running next to Frank Gore and Willis and CP. And, you got The Rock out there. You got Alex Rodriguez out there. And, you see these guys, they pull up in their fancy cars and, but they putting in that work with you and they pushing you, man. And you just see, like, how, like, this is bigger than you. I think once the guys, like, buy into that and understand, like, when that you, for someone who's been out of the game, 10 plus years, like it means that much, to the alumni, to the fan base. So I think once you accept the fact that you playing bigger than you, like, the sky's the limit.
Well, the interesting, Bruce talks about it's not the same and all that, and it's not the same. But, there are guys trying to step up this year. But the thing is, you can't be a leader the way you and Lamar were used to having guys to look up to and stuff until you have earned it with your play on the field. Right. And there aren't a lot of guys yet in this program that have earned it on the field, from the best players on this team on down. Tyler Van Dyke is having a great year so far this year. He's probably the best player on the team, but last year was a nightmare for him. He's never won anything yet at Miami. So that's, you talk about leaders. That's why they don't have leaders yet, because there's nobody that's got the street cred to be that kind of leader. But there are guys trying to step up.
I remember in fall practice my freshman year, like I said, I thought I was expecting the red shirt, and I was practicing, I was kind of doing my thing. And I remember Brendan Merriweather and John Beeson, like, pulling me to the side and like, hey, man, we're going to need you this year. Like, like, and I think, like, out of anything in my career, I feel like that was, I felt honor out of that, because it was like respect among, like, your peers. Like, you come here, you got this name, you this guy, whatever. But if you put in that work from the weight room to the practice field and you competing against these guys and they got the, that respect as a upperclassman, like guys like, I'm pretty sure those young guys, take praise from like guys like James Williams and Cam and, X out there, like guys like that. I think, that plays a big part into the mental aspect as a young guy coming in, because if you got respect from your peers, man, that's like the ultimate. LT, that's like the ultimate. Like, okay, you ready to rock. So I think that plays a big part for the young guys.
You as when you were at Miami, and there's so much on your shoulders as far as the alumni, and you got guys coming by, and you're like, damn, there go Michael Irvin, or dang, there go this guy, or dang, there go this guy. I mean, there's a lot of pressure. People don't realize. I mean, it could break some guys. It's just too much. I mean, what was that like? I mean, you obviously been around EJ, but all these guys showing up down there and they know your name. They say, hey man, I need, hey dude, what was that like, bro?
Man, I feel like it was a gift and a curse at times, because you get all these expectations and if you're a dog, you want to live up to that,
Yeah.
And then, it's like when you're doing good, you don't feel like you're doing as you should or what people are expecting you to. And then you also got to realize, like, you are your own player, you are your own man. So, you got to be realistic about certain things. And I think that's a balance, I think that's a big balance for a lot of guys. A lot of guys, I've seen it, I've seen guys take it and, take off with it. And I've seen some guys with a lot of high expectations come in and they just kind of crumble because for whatever reasons, whether it's your work ethic or your injuries or just your mentality, it's more than talent when you get to that level.
Or Miami in itself.
Yeah.
Miami is taking out some good players at some point in time. I'm just saying.
I can honestly say that.
You got to be built for it, baby. Well, you got to learn. I mean, I came from games, but I was wide open.
I came from a mock league. I thank God for EJ. I thank God for EJ because boy, I wouldn't have knew nothing what I knew before I got there. You know, like we had one high school, no movies, no mall, and you go to Miami, it's like what?
Ooh, wait, my mom and dad used to be like, "When you coming home?" Never.
Never.
hey, David J, tell them about you don't have to go into all the detail, but there was a alumni guy came through and spoke one time, and it was
oh man, listen, as a young guy like me, like I say, I know the history of Miami, of just the history of all the players that have been there. I had the privilege of actually knowing some of the guys at a younger age. My dad, my family, a big football fan, so I always knew the game. So I knew players, I knew guys. So when LT came, Coach Randy Shannon, Coach Shannon was our coach. Coach Shannon played with LT, so them guys is real good buddies. So I never forget my all-time LT story. We was playing Florida State that week. That's a big game. That's like that's what you go to Miami for. Florida State, Miami. National. That's what you go for. So LT come in and Coach Shannon have him talking to him, and he was like, Florida State week, we didn't go to class.
Oh Lord.
Oh no.
He said, I wanted to know Terrell Buckley like I was going. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Hey, I was emotional that day.
But as a young guy, you see, you see the passion that he had about how personal that was from him, and he hasn't stepped on this field or in this game in years. So the passion that he got for it is like, man, I got to go do it. It's bigger than me.
I think I had some tears coming out my eyes.
Bigger than me, yeah. Like even now, to this day, I'm able to share that moment with him. He know every time I see him, that's the first thing I'm gonna say. That's the first thing I'm gonna say.
You ain't the only one. The great thing is, I mean, I got all those guys from the team. Every time they see me, that's what LT. But the great thing is, we went out and won that game.
Yes, we did.
That was awesome.
We did. Now we did, and that's one of the best feelings in the world, man. I still tease my friends about it that played at state. We go back and forth about it right now to this day. They can't. I always got that. I always got that chip on my shoulder.
Hey, Baby J, what? So watching this team this year, man, tell me, what are you thinking? I mean, I don't really like to go in predictions, but what would be acceptable after last year?
Honestly, I think what we headed at is the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
I think we we showed more grit and more will to get over that hump in the last few weeks than what we have in the past. I think we still we got a few games that we're gonna really we got tested.
Mm-hmm.
We got a few more games that we really tested. I think the sky's the limit for the team as far as diversity in the roster. I think we got a chance, but if we can get to the ACC championship game, or at least compete for it, and go and win a bowl game and end up with a 10-2 season or something like that, man, I'd be like, yo, we are on the right path with the guys we got coming in, with the guys I know that want to come to Miami. I mean, Miami is a great school. I mean, why not come to Miami, especially with how the college football world is now.
Yeah, buddy.
Man, why not come to Miami? So
why not?
I think we got a good chance. I'm excited. I've been to several games. I took my son to a game. I took my dad to a game. Man, I'm excited. So I'm looking forward to the year.
You know, we're averaging like 44, 45 points a game. That's pretty damn good. That offense.
Pretty damn good. Yep.
The big question I got for you, what would Baby J do with 200, 300,000 NIL money on South Beach? So he can't even see no more.
LT. I'm not even going to even sit here and try to give you the politically correct answer. At that age right there,
Ooh-wee.
man, listen, man, I I'd have had a top back with something from a foreign country or something. I would have went down to AJ and got right, and you know.
Yeah.
I love it for the guys though, man.
Yeah.
I honestly, I feel like it's long overdue, and if they can just get the right guidance at a younger age, and get the right education on how to do things, I always felt like that's going to help us, man. It's Miami, it's Miami. If you balling in Miami with the NIL and everything else, it just don't make sense to go anywhere else.
Boy, I look sometimes at NIL stuff, boy, I'm kind of mad at my parents for having me too early.
Too early.
I looked at my daddy and told him you could have waited just a little.
Hey, Baby J, man, what are you doing? I mean, like you in great shape, man. What you got going on, baby?
Oh man, I'm forever Swayze made. I'm all forever Swayze made. But I got my own fitness business right now. I got a fitness business, JJ5 Fitness. I do my own personal training. I do virtual training. I do kids speed and agility training. I've been doing my own thing, having my own gym for about 6-7 years now.
That's awesome.
I was able to go back to UM through the NFL and able to get my master's also. So I'm a double graduate from the University of Miami, proud to say. And
congratulations.
In Naples, Florida, man, I'm just, enjoying life.
Yeah, you don't look too happy with that smile on your face.
Hey,
it's all good, man. That's all good.
It's been a long road, but that's why I'm forever, thankful for the you, man. Just helped me so much on the field, off the field, and the relationships, going forward, and also right now, just being able to bring my kids to the game and being around the environment, man. I think that decision, when you make it 18 years old, you don't think about all those things at that moment. But, sitting here 18 years later, I'm like, damn, I'm glad I did that. So I'm happy to be a part of the U family. I'm happy to be on the show, man.
Well, we're definitely appreciative of you coming on, and I'm hoping to see you in the at the Hard Rock, and I know I'm gonna hear you first.
You already know.
LT. I want to know T-Buck like the.
You already know. That's how I'm coming every time. Every time.
What's at the Hard Rock?
No, at the stadium, Hard Rock Stadium.
The stadium. Okay.
So we ain't talking about off that. We only dealing with the stadium right now. This is a PG show. PG show, Gary. PG show. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on, man. Much love to you, baby. I see you at the game.
Thank you guys for having me, man. And go Canes, man.
Great seeing you, JJ.
Yes, sir.
Wow. What a good kid.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Long way from Immokalee.
Long way. Hey, man, we ain't that far.
So you're telling these kids not to go to class, huh?
Yes. You're throwing two questions at me. Yes, I have been in Immokalee. Yes, I have been to recruit, actually. And back to that whole thing, the rules were different back then, Bruce. On big game weeks, like Florida State, Notre Dame, unfortunately, you were not expected to go to class.
Oh, really?
You saw what was going on behind Mario. We spent a lot of time in that building preparing and getting ready for those games. We felt like the edge was our preparation, obviously a practice, but putting in the time, making the sacrifice. We sacrificed going to class to get more game preparation. We sacrificed that.
And we all know that you did not attend the weight room.
Well, I sacrificed that too.
I know you did.
with glee. Remember, I was there for two things: first downs and touchdowns, baby.
I know, and taking the helmet off.
Oh, baby J, man, that was good to see him, man. He's in great shape.
Those are great questions because really, he came in with a lot of pressure. A name like that, a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure on his shoulder.
A lot of pressure. He's a good kid. Happy he made it here.
Let's see what.
All right, guys. Well, let's Bruce, any parting thoughts from you for tonight? As
Same
the
as
Canes
last
get ready
week,
to go to
Gary.
Temple?
Show up, play hard, kick ass, and go home. That's what I want to see. I want to see these kids play with the same passion they played against A&M and the way they played against Bethune the other day. They came out smoking. I want to see the same thing, and I want to see us get better. I want to cut down some more of those holes. They didn't make as many stupid mistakes. And I want to ask LT real fast, what do you tell Colby Young after a couple of those balls hit him right in the belly? It wasn't like he was up here someplace. They hit him in the belly a few times. Is that a lack of focus, or is that he's looking down the field? What would you tell him as coach?
Well, obviously, it is a lack of focus as far as, not looking the ball into the tuck. I think he's just pressing a little bit. He's just pressing. I always had this thing called put it to bed. So, if I drop that pass in the game, I was going to try to get that thrown to me 30 times, whether after practice or whatever, because I wanted to put it to bed. I wanted to I hated dropping passes. I really disliked. I thought it was embarrassing to me.
And it should be because you're playing football. You're busting your ass and you drop a ball right.
Well, not even more than that. I got 10 other guys busting their ass to make this happen, and I can't make that play. And all I wanted from my teammates was respect. And I wanted those fans to be like, "Hey, that's a tough son of a bitch. He might be skinny, but he's a tough son of a gun." So for me, as a coach, I'm like, "Yo, all right, bro, tighten up." That's just me. All right, bro, tighten up. Hey, homeboy, you seen that? Get ready. I'm making sure they understand there is competition, and there are, you drop a pass like that, you drop too many of them, there'll be consequences. Right. It's not obviously coaching in the pros is a little different because you're dealing with professionally, you're dealing with now guys' paychecks, but I guess now in college football, I guess you're dealing with paychecks too. But it's just one of those things. I just think he's pressing a little bit. But I watched him early. What I was very impressed with from week 1 to week 2. The week 1 he wanted to come out the game. Week two, guy tried to come in. He pushed him away. Hell no, this is mine. I said, "Ooh, he's got it now. He got it," because that's all the receivers at Miami I know. And they were very successful in those groups. We didn't want to come out because we were afraid of letting that other dude get in and him getting that shine. And then the coach is kind of like, "Oh, you're like, okay, I'm going back in." No, let him get a little bit more. So I like that type of competition. I like, what's going on. I think as a total group, the receivers, I think they're playing well. You just got to tighten up a couple things. I like the runner. I think Kevin Beard's doing he has them going. He has them doing what they're supposed to do. They look like they really enjoy it. Hell, the whole sideline, the coaches, it just looks like a different organization, a different program than it did last year. It's no more gimmicks, no more turnover chains, no more, it's just, hey, we're down, let's come back and kick their ass. And, I hope it continues. I want it to continue because I think with all this stuff that's going on as far as, you got people over here talking about, Warren Sapp and the Zoe and The Rock and Michael Irvin. I think we all want the same thing. We just have to come together as a family and get it. I'm not talking because those people that are preaching that outside noise, they can go kick rocks. As a family,
right?
This is what we are. So, we had that saying back when I was a freshman, all it takes is all you got. And I think that they're going back to that. They're getting back to it.
I agree. I'm thrilled about this. I said 5-0 before we play Carolina, and I think that's probably going to happen. And I still think we're going to beat them too. I don't think they're that good. All right, Gare.
Hey.
That's my.
All right, Bruce. We'll see you again next week.
Yep.
All right, Bruce.
All right, LT.
Hey, Gary. We need to block some of these. One of these guys, this Kevin Harris guy. We need to block him.
He's crying for attention with this one.
Oh my goodness. I think
at least spell your name correctly, man.
Yeah.
At least spell your name correct.
I think hey man, he's just trying to get under my skin just because I said he was the only center I've ever known that he didn't like shotgun. He liked for the quarterback to be under center.
All right, word association. I came up with a couple. It's admittedly a little mellow this week, but let's start with Temple.
Well, I watched them against Norfolk State, and Norfolk State is an HBCU, kind of on the same page as maybe even better. I think Bethune's probably better, but Norfolk State was able to run the ball on them. I think that they're having some problems in the secondary with injuries, so this could be an opportunity if we come out with the right mindset to do what we're supposed to do on the road and get what you can, let the other guys get some experience or dominate. But I think the mindset will and should destroy Temple right off their offset. They're not playing really good ball right now.
All right. Let's talk about the Rock.
Well,
if you smell what the Rock's cooking, the Rock has come back to Colorado. Take it from any angle you want, Lamar.
Well, it's hard for me. I can't talk negative about it. Hell, he signed my check for a whole year, so he was
really have his, Did your XFL check really have his signature?
I'm pretty sure it would, but everything is done electronically. So,
right.
But I'm pretty sure it would. But yeah, I can't say nothing negative about him. I think contract's up in a couple of days, and if he keeps wearing Colorado, I might be saying something negative. But no, I think that was just a coincidence. He was out there. He loved, hey, why not get more attention? Go to the game. He's good for TV. And the great thing about it, he was able to do a segment on. He might have put on that jersey, but he did a segment where he talked about the University of Miami.
That was great that they gave him that couple of minutes.
Yes. So I'm pretty sure that if Mike or Warren were up there in the same capacity, it'd have been the same thing. They're going to talk about their brother. They love Dion, but at the same time, they also love the University of Miami. So, all these people there talking that crazy stuff. It's all about in-house right now.
All right, and you got to be mesmerized by him for 30 minutes tonight on this show, Mario Cristobal.
Hey, man, I tried to trick him up a little bit. He was like, nah, Temple. One game at a time, baby. I like to hear that. Again, I think that head coach, everybody in that program, he's narrowed it down. He's gotten rid of guys. He's trying to find the right fit in that program as far as not just players, but coaches, probably custodians, all that stuff. He's trying to find the right fit, last year, I know it hurt him. We all were hurting, but he came out this year and he so far so good. But I love that it just seems like he's just on that warpath of, hey man, we're gonna get this thing together. Well, the hell of high water, we're gonna get this thing together. So I like that, and I like the staff he's put together. I like where the team is headed. We face a little adversity. I'm pretty sure we're gonna face some along the way. We want to see how they continue to get better.
Well, we got to thank Mario for coming on the show tonight. He's very busy, and we really appreciate it and hope you guys like that 30-minute or so glimpse into his world today. We got to thank Javaris James for coming on the show. He was, I thought, spectacular, so entertaining. He could be a stand-up comedian if he wanted to be. We got to thank our sponsors, starting with Caneswear. And, you see all that great Canes merchandise behind Lamar. It wants a home. It's screaming at everybody. Please, please, please come take us off these shelves. We love this new store that Caneswear has at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, but we would be even happier in your home. They got t-shirts, jerseys, polos, hoodies, hats, flags, decals, magnets, just about anything you could possibly want.
Everything.
As a Canes fan, they have everything there in those four walls. So Caneswear, like I said, on South University in Davie, and caneswear.com. You guys can shop them. And then it's getting ready to come up on the screen, but we got to thank the Florida Beach Bowl as well, the new bowl game for historically black colleges that's coming to Drive Pink Stadium in Fort Lauderdale this December. And then there's the law firm of Rotson and how do you pronounce it, Lamar?
You go ahead. I'm Italian now.
I would say Foxidomo, but Foxidomo. Well, where clients can get aggressive representation from skilled criminal lawyers. God forbid you need a criminal lawyer.
God forbid. Yes.
But things happen.
Things happen
in this world. There's a lot of different ways to get in trouble. And if you do, they would be happy to help you out. So thank them all. So Lamar, I'm off to go eat some cheesesteaks and go watch this latest installment of 2023 Canes at Lincoln Financial Field. And, we will be back next Wednesday night for another edition of the Lamar Thomas Show. And can we say already who one of the guests is going to be, or do we have to reconfirm that?
Oh man, we got a lot of people wanting to get in, man. I'm so excited. There's some big names out there. They were calling me all day. I'm excited about this. We'll hold it down. We'll hold it
until we get it confirmed. All right.
We'll hold it down.
All right.
They're all confirming. They all want to confirm now, but just hold it down. It won't be Kevin. Not Kevin. It won't be Sweet Nasty. Kevin, this guy that has been stalking us on social media on the comments. Kevin Harris. Jeez, what embarrassing.
All right, well, we thank everybody for watching tonight. We really appreciate it, and we will be back next Wednesday night for another one. So for Lamar, Bruce, Mario, Javaris, I'm Gary. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Go Canes.